Right, hi lads and lasses, welcome to Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave. Today what we're going to do is going to have a further look at the DD board management. The thing that caused a bit of controversy a couple of weeks ago. I've let the dust settle a little bit, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to explain to you the way that the Dynamite Dave board management is actually meant to work. Because it's not only a physical thing, it's a mindset as well. So basically what it does is, it's my famous saying, know where you're going and go where you know. So what we're trying to do, or what we're trying to achieve, is rather than, you've seen this loads of times on the telly and you must see it loads of times in the pub. I've done it myself, was in a competition a couple of weeks ago and just made a right arse of it because I tried to go a conventional way on a finish and I just lost my way, and I just went and I just lost it completely, and I miscounted and my head just went to mush. So that's what this Dynamite Dave board management thing is. We've seen, and I put this on Facebook, Luke Littler, if you watched the one where I think he was in Amsterdam, I watched that right the way through. First match I've actually had a chance to watch for ages and ages. But it just showed the way that he went for his finishes, and it was virtually every leg. Now, I was teaching these finishes over a decade ago, and everybody called me a lunatic. They said I was mad, all that sort of stuff. So now I'm hoping that because it's come through anyway with my personal coaching and the people that I've taught, so throw your first dart in, and then your second dart at your first dart's flight, and then your third dart at your first dart's flight, and there you go. So hopefully this will give you a bit of an insight into what I mean. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to first of all get you into the Dynamite Dave mindset. So the way that I see things, and I've explained this before on loads of videos, the only way that you're going to win anything, the only way that you're going to win a leg, a match, it doesn't matter what it is by hitting these outside bits, right? So the more you use them, please get this into your head, the more you use these, the better you're going to become at them. How many times do we see people spending 10-15 minutes sometimes, when people are rubbish, chucking at this, and then they come to the outside ring and they're there, they end up all the way down round to double one, and they can be on double one. I've seen it myself for 10 or 15 minutes trying to hit double one. The reason for that is they do not incorporate the doubles into the game. Now every one of these doubles round this board, and it don't matter which one it is, are all the same size, so they're all the same to hit. You have this, I'm left-handed, so my best side is this side. I'm right-handed, so my best side is that side. I can't stand double seven. Why? They're all the same. I'll tell you why, because your throwing technique's weak. That's why. The Dynamite Dave way is the way that you adjust round the board means that you throw everything exactly the same. So you're just as accurate at every different target on the board, regardless, and it's all common sense. That's why I tell you to stand in the middle of the hockey. Because if you do, how about this for common sense? If you stand bang in the middle of the hockey, when you're throwing at the board, your datum is your bullseye. So your toe is, or your setup is right in the centre of the ball. So it's exactly the same distance to the double 11 as it is to the double 6. It's exactly the same distance from the double top to the double 3. However, if you go and stand right on the right hand side of the hockey, when you're throwing at double 6, when you actually throw at double 11, it's another 12 to 13 inches away from where you're stood. Rather than it being 6 inches, it's 13 inches. So when you throw, your darts go low. So then what do? You try and put a bit more effort in, and they go up here. And that's why you end up all over the place. Believe me, go and have a go at the Dynamite Dave way. And don't do it for 5 or 10 minutes, or 15 or 20 minutes, or 2 or 3 days. Give it a couple of weeks, and you tell me that it doesn't work for you, because I'm telling you now, it works for everybody. Everybody I've come across who actually properly gives it a go, it works for. And it doesn't matter whether you're 4'2" or 6'7". I've got players that are way over 6 foot, and all you do is adjust down. Everything, no matter how tall you are, Everything is the same. Everywhere that you throw it on the board is exactly the same. Right, so less of the waffling. Right, the first one, the one that I'm going to use as an example is you can use it for everything. You can use it for all the different Dynamite Dave finishes. I'm just in the middle now of producing a Dynamite Dave finish sheet, and what they're going to be is they're going to be on eBay. So if you want to get onto eBay and have a look on there, I'd give it a couple of days because it's quite intensive, because what I've done is I've not only put the finishes on, I've put the small paragraph of the reason behind it, and once you get used to that and it starts to go inside your brain, you'll find that you're far more confident about what you're doing, and you'll be far more settled in the way that you want to finish. You'll know exactly what you're doing. So when you go to the board, what it'll do is it'll reduce your anxiety. So a lot of people, they get very nervous when they go and play darts and what have you, but this will boost your confidence, and it will reduce your anxiety and the way that your game on syndrome works, because you'll be confident in the way that you're going to finish. And when you finish this way, to be honest with you, you get these conventional people, more of the old guard. When you hit some of these finishes, I'm telling you now, it'll just knock the feet out from underneath them. Absolutely. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to use 138 as an example. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through every different way of my thinking on this. And don't forget, you're playing against a normal player, but it doesn't matter whether you're playing against an amateur, somebody who's a beginner, or somebody who's a top line elite professional. If you're playing somebody who's as equally as good as you, you can finish as good as they can. So if you use this system, there's always a chance of you being able to finish the same as they do. So it's not a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that we're an average player. Right, so 138 is 60, double 19, double top. Right, now that is the way that I do it. And the guys in the pub will tell you, I'm no pretender, this is what I do, and there's no two ways about it, I do it. Right, so that's it, that's the finish. So you've hit that, right, you've knocked his legs from underneath him, and you're walking 6 foot tall, ready for the next leg. What do you do when it goes wrong? I'll show you what you do when it goes wrong. Right, so you throw for treble 20, and you come down and you've hit a single. Right, so know where you're going and go where you know. So the next thing from that is, I've missed the 60 at the 20. What do I do now? I'll tell you what I do now, is I keep going. So what I'll do from there is I'll go one or two ways. If you want to use your grouping and you want to stay where you are, absolutely fine. Go for double top. Right, if you hit double top, you've knocked that 60 off, haven't you? So you're in that position now where in your brain, you've hit the 60. So where's your next step? Your next step is double 19, so do it. Double 19. So when you walk back to that hockey, there is no thinking whatsoever. You walk away from there, there's no thinking. There's no thinking, what am I going to do if this happens? What am I going to do if that happens? Because you know damn well what you're going to do. You've got 3 in hand for double top. Bang, first one goes in there. For the simple reason is, as you walk back to the back of the hockey, when you get to the back of the hockey, all you do is look at that. Just keep looking at that. Don't take your eyes off it, just keep looking at that. Then when you walk up to the hockey, if it's a raised one, keep looking at it. Look at it, tap your foot on the hockey, slide yourself up and put the dart in it, and never take your eyes off that till you've actually thrown your first dart at it. Right, you'll probably find that maybe 25%, depending on what level you're at, maybe 25% of the time you will hit that. I would say, and the guys again who play with me will tell you I ain't bullshitting, I would say I hit that 8 times out of 10, first dart. That's what a lot of people call me, one dart. If, by any chance, you go, let's do it, so we've dropped inside, so then it's 10s, isn't it? It's 10s, inside, it's 5s, so you know where you're going and you go where you know. Right, if you miss on the outside, so you put one up here, it's exactly the same thinking of if you're going for double one. One over the top and one inside. So your next one, you're using that as a marker. Straight in, you've hit it in 2, so you've finished. So that is the way that I think about how I'm going to finish. And what I've done is throughout that, I've stayed going where I know. I know where I'm going, and I'm going where I know. Show you is one that I use all the time. I use this all the time, 72, because obviously depending on you and how you feel, and I do it all the time, I just go whichever way I want, I go. So I might go 18s, 18s, right, so we've got 18s, 18s, 72, job's a good one. What you might feel like doing if you're feeling a bit flash, which is what I do every now and again, well, to be honest with you, nearly all the time, I'll go 16s for tops. So 16s tops, 72 again. The great thing is though, is when you miss, when you get down to here, what do? You always aim for this inside wire. Look how wide it is. If you're aiming for that inside wire, look how big that segment is compared to that one there. The difference is phenomenal. And obviously the bigger it is, the easier it is to hit. It's as simple as that, isn't it? That is not, if that isn't common logic, and I don't know what is. If somebody throws a pea up in the air and you try and hit it with the end of a pencil, what chance do you stand? Very little. You throw a pea up in the air and see if you can whack it with a pencil. Very, very difficult. You get your pencil, right, blow yourself a beach ball up, throw it up in the air, and I bet you can hit it 100 times out of 100. And that's the idea. The bigger it is, the easier it is to hit. Simple as that. Right, so what we do is we're going 72, we're going the flash way. So we go for 16s and we miss it on the inside. So it's absolutely brain out in the dustbin. Bang, one right next to it, and you've got one dart for double top. Simple as that. Now, how logical is that? Is that a lot easier than thinking to yourself, oh, right, well, what do I do now? Right, so that's 72. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go even further down the scale, but it works exactly the same. Just think about it, right? Everybody, in convention, if you want 66, where's the first dart going? Treble 10. Because treble 10 is that big. Double 15 is that big. So, the way that I think about it, right? 66 for me, and I do this all the time, is double 15, double 18. That's keeping me sharp on my doubles because I'm using them every leg. Every leg I'm trying to use at least 2 doubles. And then when I come to do my practice, I do quite a lot of my practice on doubling out. So basically from the 138 all the way down, that's how I do my practice. Hitting 60s is for fun. I can go out on a Sunday and I can hit 4, 5, 6, 10. My record on a Sunday in 2 hours is 16 180s. Anybody can hit them. They're 10 a penny. They don't mean anything to me anymore. This is what means to me. Great finishing. And like I say, you might think it's a bit flash, but it's not. It makes sense. Think about it. It's it's common sense. If you miss that, it's one next to it. It's already programmed in your head that you're going for double 18, so you've a damn sight better chance of hitting it than thinking, oh, right, now what do I do? Now what do I do? Oh, right, I want double 9, and then going for double 9. It's not programmed in your head. You're not settled with it. Whereas if you go 15-15 and you miss on the outside, when you walk round, you know exactly what you're going for. You're going for double 18. You're not changing it. You're going for double 18. You're dead confident that you're going to hit it, and you've got 3 darts to do it. 9 times out of 10 you're going to hit it. It's as simple as that. Yeah, so we've seen some of those finishings with Luke Littler, and I think that's probably one of the best, because I don't watch that much darts. You might see a lot more of these finishes than I do, but Luke Littler was just an absolutely fantastic example over there. So the last little one I'm going to show you for today is another one. 1-2-5. What do most people do? Go for first one, they go for 19s or something, won't they? Me? No. This is technically one of the biggest sections of the board, and it's the one that you use for warming up on. So you should be really good at hitting this. So what do we do? 1-2-5. Couple of ways that I go for it. First dart, bullseye. So we just keep going, and we hope that we get one in there and one in there, like that. 1-2-5. And believe me, that will take the knees out of your opponent without any doubt whatsoever. But very rarely that will ever work, will it? So what do we do then if that's the case and we don't actually complete it? Right, so we've thrown the first one, and it's gone in 25. Yeah, so 25. So what do we do after that? Dead simple, isn't it? 60 for tops. Job's a good one. Again, because you've done it that way, you'll knock the legs out from your opponent. Most of the time, that will affect whoever you're playing. But what happens if it goes wrong again? So you hit the 25, right, you've gone for the 60, you've missed the 60 and you've hit a 20. What does our convention tell you to do? What does Dynamite Dave's way of doing things tell you to do? Go for that double top anyway. For the simple reason is, what does that leave you? Double top. It's already, and it's nothing to do with the percentage of what the chance of you actually hitting whatever it is you're going for. So if you don't do that, let's just say you go for a treble 14 for whatever, I just think that is way bigger. And again, say you miss it again and this goes out over the top there, what are you left with? 60, 20 for tops. So it's one in the big fat 60 as a marker and one in tops. So it's just, for me, that makes sense. If that makes sense for you, have a go at the Dynamite Dave way of board management. As I say, give it a couple of days and then go and have a look on my eBay shop, and there'll be some finishing sheets on there, and it will, if you watch this video, think about this video and then look at those finishes, I think they'll all make very, very much sense to you. And I think what they'll do is, once you get used to doing them, they'll take a lot of the confusion out of the game for you, and they'll make the game a lot simpler for you and a lot easier to play. And obviously if it's a lot easier to play, you're going to become a lot more successful at it. So thanks very much for watching Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave. That was a little bit of the Dynamite Dave board management for finishing. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it's been informative as well as entertaining. And don't forget, have a go, you never know. It might work for you, might not. So, but it's entirely up to yourself. Right, so thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, you'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. Never a true word spoken. And always, 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 to the hockey!